Welcome to Theories of Emotion by Zach Benani, Sandra Holloway, Gabriel Robinson, and Dawson Alexander. So, our psychologists who created these theories there's four main ones: the James Lang theory, the Cannon-Bard, the Schachter and Singer, and the opponent process theory. And here we go.
This is the Cannon-Bard theory. Cannon-Bard theory is the theory that psychological and emotional changes occur simultaneously in response to a stimulus, as opposed to the earlier James Lang theory. For example, if I were to see a snake, I would be afraid and I would begin to tremble.
The Schachter and Singer theory. For the Schachter and Singer theory, two psychologists named Stanley Schachter and Jerome Singer proposed another theory. Their theory, known as the Schachter-Singer theory, suggests that experiencing an emotion requires both bodily response and an interpretation of bodily response by considering particular the situation and the person is in motion at the moment. And this was in 1962. If my heart is racing and an alligator is chasing me, I might interpret that as fear. Now, if my heart is racing and I'm looking at the person I am in love with, I might interpret that as excitement. Yeah, that's weird. So, even though the bodily responds in the same, I might experience very different emotions depending on the type of situation I am in.
The James Lang theory. The James Lang theory is the oldest theory of the four. It was originally created from William James in 1884 and then tweaked a little bit by Carl Langs in 1887, which is their theory on emotion. Though the two psychologists never knew each other, they came up with the same idea around the same time, coincidentally. Which is interesting because this means that in order to experience emotion, we must first experience the bodily response, which is fast breathing, heart racing, sweaty hands that corresponds to the emotion. Once we experience the bodily response, we experience the emotion. For example, if I see a big scary dog barking at me, my heart begins to race. Noticing my heart race, my brain figures out that I am experiencing fear.
And lastly, we have the opponent process theory by Richard Solomon and John Corbett. See, this is the most commonly discussed theory of emotion, known as opponent process theory. It is developed by two psychologists. Now, this theory is completely different. This different type of theory and explains experience of emotions in relation to its opposites. Richard Solomon and John Corbett suggest experience of an emotion disrupts the body's state of balance and that our basic emotions typically have their opposing counterparts. Now, in 1974, they said, for example, the opposite of pleasure is pain, and the opposite of fear is relief. The opposite of depression is elation, etc. We experience one emotion, and it suppresses the opposite emotion. Once the initial emotion subsides, we naturally experience the opposing emotion to balance the two. For example, we might feel a high level of fear before bungee jumping off a ledge. After the jump, we feel a high level of relief, and in the opposite emotion of fear, the theory is also commonly used to explain drug addiction. Well, the pleasure is associated while taking an addictive drug that makes us feel the painful withdrawal effect of the drug afterwards. To escape this painful withdrawal effect, the addict takes more of the drug right away. But because we are trying to experience pleasure from the state of experience pain and not a normal state, we need more of the drug than before. This is what creates the addictive cycle of drugs. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.